fire signs, whoa. You gotta jump out. Two of fire. Welcome. Vesica Astrology. So I'm pulling 3 oracle cards for present, future, and outcome of the week of May 5th through the 12th. And we have a new moon in Taurus at 7 degrees happening with the sun at 17 degrees. So wherever that is for you, that's where it's happening. And we will see in the following week a Sun-Uranus conjunction at 23 degrees. So fire, with this two of fire, I see it as ideas with friends, with partners who have the same sort of inventive, passionate imagination as you. For Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, also we have, whoa, Empress card, hello. We have a full moon in Sag on the 23rd. So it's interesting that that 23 number is repetitive throughout the month. It's the number of magic, of 2 and believing. So 2 is feeling, very Lunarian. And as the moon moves through Leo, I think that we're going to have, because Aries has been rebirthing and redirecting the sense of identity in the world that we carry. So I'm an Aries rising, and I have a fire moon in Leo. Fire moon. We have, wow, I love how the Empress actually has her head bent. So she's this earth angel, and she's holding a baby, her creation. We just had the solar eclipse in Aries. So it's like the heart is coming up big for fire signs, what we've been keeping alive in our heart with, we'll see, just basically everything is in the sign of Aries, which is shaping the individual, shaping the sense of maybe woundings that we've had around being an individual. And we see the 9 of Earth. So basically, we on our princess vibes. Despite your gender, you will become a full-fledged princess fairy by the end of next week. And that to me looks like this dragon wings becomes what she is wearing in the world. So let's see, for the moon, whenever it enters Leo, May 13th and 14th, so that is actually happening on that Uranus conjunction. The moon will be in Leo. Our friends who support us in our inventiveness, in our sense of confidence, the moon, whenever there's this direct conjunction, the moon will be at 29 degrees Cancer and then move into Leo. So I want to look at that 29 degrees Cancer to get a sense of how this passion, how this humble, inventive imagination becomes just something that we are. A large school of baby fish swimming in a group. Go check out Minnow Pond Tarot if you haven't already. So we will actually see friendships, I think, from our collective communities come forth to be like, yeah, you got this. What you're doing is amazing. We're going to feel this sense of anointing, of blessedness, of being really in sync with life, with this Sun-Uranus conjunction. And then it's like we're just going to be flaunting it like we got it, walking through the world with a new sense of achievement, because I believe what it is that we've been cultivating through our passion, through investing in ourselves and our passion, is going to be really well received. So this large school of baby fish swimming in a group, moving to wild grapes growing everywhere after the conjunction, and then the moon moving through Leo. It's going to go from, let's go by the week. And this is technically from the week of the 12th through the 18th. But what's happening before the Sun-Uranus conjunction is everything building up to the surface, to come up, to sprout, to be like, hey, mommy, we made it. April showers bring May flowers. So I would say the earth signs are peaking out for fire. I would say so because of the animals. Like, they are physical representations, mirrors for our consciousness. So you might want to look at what animals have been appearing. I live in a very wonderful environment where I am not on the food chain, but I get a lot of animals. I get to see lots of different versions of reality walking around in their own little mini vortexes. And I believe that with Mars, let's go back a week. Mars, North Node, Mercury, and Chiron, and starting the week off, we will have the moon in Aries. We have had a sense of drive and purpose around expressing ourselves, around being authentic, around carrying the torch of our purpose from past lifetimes, whether or not you believe in that, ancestors, maybe you believe in that, who didn't have the reach that we have. They didn't have the internet. They didn't get to move around when they wanted to. They had to stay on a piece of land and work it. And maybe for those of us who are wanting to own property or sell property, I would say that this is a good time to make move towards that, make move towards the long-standing achievements and goals that you have. Because of this, I believe you've gathered community with your new identity. So you're not looking to the same people who maybe didn't get you, who maybe gaslit you because they didn't see how. Maybe they even did it out of a sense of protection over you because they didn't see how your crazy schemes would amount to anything. They were more so like, hey, let's stop all this crazy madman talk and get back to the fields like your ancestors did. Or let's get back to the knitting. Stay small, stay hidden. Don't be too visible because you could get guillotined or whatever. And there's a near kite forming in the chart. So it's like we're sailing away from these outdated methods and models of being perceived. So Sagittarius, because there is a full moon at the end, towards the end of the month, on the 23rd in your sign, and it will be at 0 degrees Sagittarius. My Mercury is moving there with my progress chart later this year. How exciting. We're going to have this sense of confidence because we are the Empress. We are walking around the earth like, hey, we have been building this, not just for 1 year, not just for one lifetime, but for many. And we're going to know what we know and have allies to not just back us up, but to help us move forward with what we're creating. So everything leading up to the Sun-Uranus conjunction, everything leading up to the full moon in Sagittarius, we're going to start to see motion forward when the moon moves into Gemini because it is the planet that rules Mercury, which is finally progressing. It's not going to be fully out of shadow until next week on the 13th, the Sun-Uranus conjunction. So basically it's like, I think of Mercury retrogrades as like whenever you start thinking about the past. So things play out again and you're like, I would have done this if I had the chance. And I believe that that is actually the most empowering way to revisit the past. So a lot of therapy that I've given myself over the years has been like past life regressions where I'll have a memory and I just make it up. I'm like, this happened instead. I got to say this, or I just, me as this being now, went to my younger self and held her, witnessed her, high-fived her, made sure that she felt really seen. And then it's like, by doing that, you're going to connect with people because they're going to mirror the ways that you have shown up for yourself and loved yourself. And this 0 degree full moon in Sagittarius is like shining down upon everything that was maybe perceived as cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. People might have made you feel small or told you to stay small out of like wanting to protect you from fears. And now we're going to be able to walk through the world like this. So I would say that the moon moving through Taurus with this fire is going to really help us to, I would say, illuminate what it is that we've been maybe too afraid to show. And it is scary if you haven't given yourself kudos yet, if you still talk down to yourself about what has not come through for you yet, what has not materialized yet. Just know that it's on the way if you speak it into existence, because this is magic. Our throat chakra, our heart chakra space, it is so magical that we've been duped. If you've watched the movie Wish with Disney, their new movie, I feel like that was actually an apology, because it's like, no, you really do have the ability when you're convicted of what it is that you believe in, and you're willing to Sixth house is getting a transit right now with Black Moon Lilith. When you're willing to heighten your production standards, your quality, that you are willing to, I would say, entertain, share, just give to others for free, you have a new standard that is working all of the models that you're drafting. So let's see, if you haven't felt camaraderie yet, I would say just be on the lookout for groups. That moon at 29 degrees Cancer during the Sun-Uranus conjunction is pointing towards Moon upon Tarot. So if you have a fire placement, just make sure that you connect with Chris Rack online. You otherwise find some community, because we are at the dawn of the age of Aquarius, that can support how you feel, how you authentically feel. Even if you have to do it with like a fake username, an invented username, be sure to do that for yourself, because how you treat yourself is how you're going to start seeing reflected back to you. And we're going to have a sense of ease and confidence and gratitude. So maybe for my fire signs, get your gratitude list out for this week and make sure that whatever it is that you're grateful for, some of it's scripted, because there are things that are forming that are not fully materialized. But the more that we are able to not just fake it, but really look around and say, wow, I have electricity. I can connect with my internet every day to social networks. I can be seen online. There are ways that I can learn. There are things that I can grow. The beliefs that I have that are outdated of how I need to behave in public are gone. They are being fleshed out, because the sun entering the week at 15 degrees Taurus is really making space to be this grateful empress with something that was just an idea. It was literally just a vision, and it becomes what we wear into the world. So we are living the dream physically. Excuse me. So week starts May 6th. I just want to go day by day for fire, because Mars is moving through Aries, and on this day of the new moon, Mars will be at 6 degrees Aries, which is an aquamarine in a woman's navel. I love that vision. It's almost like literally the new moon seed for fire has to be planting a vision of what we would like to manifest in the next 9 months. So we're going to see with the full moon that vision start to become something that we can really amplify from our voice. Like we go from this to being like, hey you, listen to me, I have this great idea. But it's not going to be just with the world. We're going to get more selective about who we share our first sprouts with. You know, you don't just invite your chickens to come into your new garden, because you'll see things that we're growing not grow. You'll see things that you would like to feed the world with be diluted because of that energy leak. So make sure that we're protecting this vision. The gratitude journal is going to play key into over time, seeing the investments blossom and seeing them really become something that is like, you see the waterfall behind her, and it's like flowing into this wisdom that she's taken into the world, and she's attracting a lot of positive feedback, because what we protect grows value. And that's on the 8th, the day of the new moon. Mercury at 22 degrees Aries feels like we will receive a lot that is going to come up on the Sun conjunct Uranus, because there is this opening now. There's like a big place where we're like, put everything here. So if you have like any sort of like shipping container, or if you have this plot of land that you're starting a garden, or you're building one of those amazing like mud huts that I love watching on YouTube, you're gonna know exactly where to put it come the Sun at 18 degrees Taurus, and that will be the best way for you to take action. The inside degree for Mercury at 22 degrees is puppets coming alive at night. So you might want to have some blue lotus tea. Go to a local herb shop. They likely have some. Specialty spiritual store will likely have some. Or Light Doula on Etsy. She has some. I'd love to get my blue lotus from her. And I would say get your gratitude list, get your scripting. Oh, the alarm's going off. Excuse me. Oh, it stopped. Okay, great. So make sure you light that candle. Have some sort of ceremony for yourself on the new moon. Because of that 22-degree vortex, it's like some genius can come in. So maybe if you haven't gotten your close allies who you can exchange ideas with openly, freely, 100% as yourself, the way to getting there will arrive, and then the Sun conjunct Uranus will ground it into physical reality. Chiron's going to move to 21 degrees, so that is what these beliefs are going to be something that we're like willing to flaunt in the world. So whether that's like, I've started making skits on TikTok and sharing them on Instagram, which is really challenging for me because I've hidden so much of my inside, like this genius that was really unlocked with the solar eclipse in Aries, and I've felt the need to suppress it. But now it's kind of like that aquamarine in the woman's navel, that 6-degree Mars activation is going to be moved forward a bit with the Sun at night at 18 degrees Taurus, and then on the 9th, with the Sun at 19 degrees Taurus, we're going to see a real removal. The placement of Mercury will be at 23 degrees, which I do think is an important aspect of, let's just see, the Sun conjunct Uranus, and then the full moon at 0 degrees. That's all the magical number 23, which is basically us awakening our genius because we are not afraid of our feelings, because we know how to protect them. Pluto moving into Aquarius this time last year it was at 0 degrees Aquarius, and this year it will be retrograding from 2 degrees. So we know what's worthy of protecting because it failed last year. We didn't have the support for it. This year we were able to put more feeling, more intention into growing it anyways, because yeah, we weren't sure last year. We kind of let it taper off, but this year, we're seeing a lot of those projects getting a second wind, a rebirth, new connections coming through to support. So basically wherever fire is in your chart, wherever Leo, Aries or Sagittarius is in your chart, that's where you're starting to see people show up for you because you're showing up for yourself. You're treating yourself in the way that you are seeing reflected. And basically, if anyone were to come through and try and poo-poo on your parade, you have to just take the time to really understand who is for you and who is not. And yes, and is the magical gift. Ariana Grande just had a song about it. It's a comedic practice. I was like hanging out with UCB guys in New York when I lived there, and they give the yes and. So there's a way to get out of that like corner that baby got put in the corner, and there's a way to lovingly say, yes, I see that that's how things once were, and we're moving on. We're moving into a new pasture. We're moving into a new state of frequency and agility. We are seeing Mars in its natal sign of Aries, so we're going to have a real sense of carrying through a vision into reality that it's never been done this way. Maybe it's been done before, but not like this. And the more confidence that you put yourself into a place of receiving, because you are practicing that gratitude list, you have a nightly ritual that is maybe tea, gratitude list, get dreamy with the blue lotus, and you'll see that your voice is something that is a magical activation for your life, and it's going to be moving past Chiron, because it's direct from its retrograde. So any thoughts that maybe were doubtful, you won't have that same sense of doubt. You're going to have a regulated emotional system. You're going to feel regulated in your nervous system. Ashwagandha is really good for that too. So be sure to nurture yourself and nourish yourself, because you are not the same fool card that you were this time last year. You weren't going out into the world to get new experiences. Now you know what your experiences are that you're investing in and you're doubling down on. And just affirm that you easily record your genius ideas. That was a suggestion for air, but I feel that for fire, to really get the best out of this week, recording your ideas, but also sharing them with your community. I think that that's a big move forward for fire, and it will show itself as the connecting bonds over the course of the month. So this was for the week of May 5th through the 12th, but from what is started and sprung and really brought into a considered measure this week will lead to the Sun-Uranus conjunction, and that will further lead to the full moon in Sagittarius. So we're dropping all this genius into the aquamarine of the navel and watching over the next 9 months something that is just getting its legs come into the world. Treat yourselves well and you'll see it reflected back. Aloha, fire signs. See you next week.